Welcome to 33 Founders, a series about founders of the coolest startups. Brought to you by 33 Voices and hosted by Chase Jennings and Jenna Abdu.
So, basically, we allow you, if you're traveling out of the airport, to park your car with us for free. And in exchange, basically, we get to rent your car out to other travelers who are coming into the same airport. We check those travelers' driving history to make sure they're safe drivers. And while the car is being rented, we insure it fully with our $1 million liability and collision policy. And so when you come back, you obviously don't have to pay any of the parking. Plus, you can make some money depending on what kind of car you have. And of course, you get the free car wash as well, so your car is nice and clean.
And you guys are the only ones with that policy, right?
So basically, there's some exclusivity agreements with the insurance companies we use. So, for the insurance company that we have for this type of business, yeah, pretty much no one can really replicate it for now.
One of the biggest parts of FlightCar is definitely trust. How do you establish that bond with your customers?
So we, for anybody that's looking to rent, we do a 3-year driving history check. And we vet drivers, based on our pretty stringent insurance criteria, things like that. So we make sure that if, your car is always in good hands. We always, obviously, it goes without saying, we always check licenses, names, make sure all that is accounted for. I think that goes a long way.
Absolutely. Let's shift gears for a second and talk about your journey. At around age 18, you guys told some of the best universities in the nation, Harvard, Princeton, and MIT, that you had a really great idea to pursue, so you were going to have to hold off on attending school. As you look back on that decision, what are you most proud of?
I think that right now, FlightCar is at a stage, even beyond where we would have thought it would be in a year. So I think, it's really doing well and it's really exceeding our expectations. So I know that I personally, and I think the same applies to Rujul and Tree, don't regret the decision at all.
Yeah, and we're just excited and lucky, I think, to be part of this.
What kind of things were you telling yourself as you were deciding to leave these colleges? What were your parents saying?
Oh, well, at least my parents were pretty skeptical. But, we figured we'd give it a shot and see what happens. So that was it.
Yeah, the worst case scenario would have been, we would have, wouldn't have worked out and we would have gone back, which is, still a pretty good backup. But, it's going very well.
Brilliant. Do you have plans to go back ever?
No.
Good for you. So let's talk a little bit about the hurdles along the way. First, when you launched, you were completely lean and mean. You got your MVP out there, and 4 hours later, what happened?
So after we had our press launch, the airport found out about the operation, and they basically decided that they wanted to cut up the revenue as well. They sent us a cease and desist letter, basically telling us we had to apply for proper permit for a car rental company through them.
Were you discouraged? What was the biggest lesson you learned from that experience?
We sort of saw it coming. It wasn't, too much of a surprise.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise was just how quickly it came.
Yeah, and I think one thing we learned from that is, you have to make sure you can react to things pretty quickly, and we did. We changed our model within 24 hours.
Did you acquire some kind of great attorney immediately after too, I hope?
Not until later.
Yeah.
Okay. And now some industry experts question your revenue potential because you have to split earnings with car owners and you have to hire valets and you have to have insurance for all 3 parties. So how are you overcoming this criticism?
So we benefit from providing certain things that add value that seem to have more value than they actually cost. So things like cleaning a car, washing your car, somebody, they pull their car through the wash, if they pay, $8-10, it does not cost us $8-10 to wash a car. So there's a bunch of things that, a bunch of places where we can sort of, where we're making, that's where the margins are, because, the value that we're bringing to the customer, for them it's a lot, but for us it doesn't cost us much. That's where the margins are. It's not really with the rev share. Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about your team. So I know it's the 3 of you guys, but were some of your other hires also your friends?
No, we haven't really hired any of our friends, into the team, because obviously most of them are at college. They're that age. Obviously we have teams at both of our locations now, at the San Francisco and Boston locations, that help, that run the operation on a day-to-day basis and do all the transactions and meet with all the customers. And then we've also got a support team in Boston that deals with customer inquiries over the phone and email, and dealing with any issues that may arise as a follow-up.
So when you replicated your model in Boston, you had to hire a lot more people. Now, what's the most important trait that you require for potential hires?
Two things. One, they should be good with customers, and two, they should be dedicated.
The dedication is really important.
How do you guys stay dedicated with so many things going on? How do you keep your eye on that one goal to provide the best service?
So, I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's such a multifaceted operation that there's so many different aspects that you can chase down and improve and do all those things. I think we do it pretty effectively by sort of splitting it more, so that I'm looking more at the finer level and Rujul's looking at more the broader level.
How do you keep your team motivated?
There's always stuff to do. I mean, there's no question about that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such a fantastic opportunity, and we see users love the service. They love dropping their car off with us. They love renting with us. So it's easy to work for a company and work with a company that people love.
When you look back on the past year, what is your defining moment? What's been the best part?
I think one of the most important moments, in the beginning, was getting into the first sort of startup accelerator we did, which was the Brandery. I think that's sort of the first moment of sort of external validation.
If we hadn't gotten in, I don't think we would have ended up doing it. So.
Yeah, that went a long way to sort of helping our parents sort of come